Hello, economics faculty. I'm Elizabeth Rodriguez, your collection development librarian. Um, I'm sorry we didn't get a chance to meet today or yesterday, but I wanted to go ahead and just record my presentation with you all and then solicit questions via email, or you can call me or you can come and see me. My office is in Estrella Hall, 232, or you can come by the library desk. So welcome back to Spring 2023. So we're going to go ahead and do some updates, a little review of some of the findings from the pilot study that I was able to do with Eric last fall, some observations, and then a new direction with our library component with your research assignment. So the pilot study. We were able to do a pilot study with Econ 212, and 13 students were able to participate. And of those 13, we found that I found that 7 of the students were able to meet the information literacy outcomes associated with the citation review component for their paper. And of those 13 students who fell short, I found that we had 2 students that were developing and 4 that did not meet the criteria or just were not able to complete the actual assignment fully. In further investigating what I found, some of my observations, was that I did experience in that pilot some confusion of where students didn't know how to submit their citations. Um, for students whose resources did not meet the criteria for reliable or credible, they tended to use surface web resources. And even for our students whose resources did meet the criteria for credible, reliable information, I did notice quite a few of those sources were still surface web and might not have been necessarily the best resources. And I did notice through the Ask a Librarian chat portal, I still had students reaching out wanting citation evaluations, or their citations to be evaluated, excuse me. General observation from all the econ sections. So this last fall, I wanted to be the librarian to respond to all students because I really wanted to see sort of holistically what was happening during sort of the process of receiving the online questions, the chat, and I was also able to do some observations at the library desk as well as answer questions at the library desk and over the phone. And what I'm noticing uh, was this common thread, and that common thread was still a lot of confusion on where to begin and not necessarily reading the directions fully or maybe not understanding the directions. Some of the students weren't watching the video, weren't using the library guides. For the students that I was able to work with at the library desk or via phone, which was really, I think, very insightful because I was able to have that live dialogue with them. Although you can have dialogue via chat, in person, or over the phone, you get the inflection of the voice, the expressions, etc. And what I often experienced was, students who didn't necessarily read the assignment instructions or know where to begin, hadn't really picked out a topic or fully flushed out a topic, and didn't watch the library demo video. What I also noticed was we still have a lot of students using the Ask a Librarian chat service as their preferred point of contact and wanting their evaluations, or excuse me, their citations to be evaluated. And so taking all of this into account, I thought to myself a couple of things. One, I wanted to look at a new direction for spring. Um, I think it's really powerful to have more of a sort of communication with the students, being able to have a dialogue back and forth about their research topics and questions. Um, I noticed that some students just were really having a difficulty just getting started, or they were waiting to the last minute. And also, I didn't want to continue to fight this sort of battle of using Ask a Librarian. Now, Rio Salato's economics courses do use Ask a Librarian, and how they have used Ask a Librarian. And this has now been, I mean, at least 5 years, if not more, that Rio Salado economic courses have been using Ask a Librarian for assisting their students in getting started with their research. And what they've been using Ask a Librarian for is helping with identifying keywords, research topic development, beginning their research, and helping them to identify some initial information resources. What Ask a Librarian cannot do is the citation reviews and the writing and review edits of papers. And what we have been experiencing with our economics courses here, or forgive me, economics students here at Estrella, is our students wanting the citation reviews. Some do use Ask a Librarian to assist with finding information, but oftentimes those transcripts, when I'm reviewing them, what I see is at the tail end, I'm getting, can you now review my citations? Which unfortunately they cannot. And so, again, wanting to sort of look at what would be best for our students and getting them started on the right um, path with their research, but also thinking about um, what is not just convenient, but it seems like the preferred model or method of contact with the librarian for a lot of our online students is Ask a Librarian. I wanted to move into a new direction. So in October, I met with Eric and we talked about this issue and the plan for spring 2023. And he said, yeah, that sounds like, something worth looking at and exploring this semester. And so I'll be sharing this information with you all. But what we're looking at this semester is a new approach. And so what we're going to have our students do is that instead of coming to us after they've gathered their resources, we're going to start with them at the very beginning. And that means asking students to reach out through Ask a Librarian or coming to the library desk or calling us and meeting and chatting with the librarian before they begin um, searching for their information. Because although some students were able to find useful or credible information, a lot of our students were just doing low-hanging fruit searching by just searching the surface web. And what was problematic is that that isn't the best resources. Um, they're sort of really missing out on getting comfortable with using their Estrella Mountain, library databases. And so what we'd like our students to do this semester is, first meet with a librarian and chat about their research topic, work with the librarian in person or online, and again, they can use Ask a Librarian, identify some keywords, and start searching some of the EMCC. I need to edit that. I wrote EMC. Anyways, Australian Mountain Community College databases, and identify at least one credible resource for their paper. And if they're smart, they'll just continue to search for all of them with the librarian. But the idea is getting them on the right path, and just trying to help those students who are not, who maybe they're, for whatever reason, they don't want to begin their research using the credible, reliable, um, databases that they paid for, right? So we're trying to help them to change that search behavior to academic search behavior. And then for documenting, uh, all they would have to do is submit their Ask a Librarian chat transcripts um, for their their assignment, or and if they're at the desk, I have a library notes worksheet for them, and submit those keywords and chat transcripts and some of their credible resources to to their courses as their assignment. Um, so this is kind of what Eric and I talked about last semester, and we wanted to sort of see if how folks um, felt about this approach, keeping in mind that I really think that this is going to help us to avoid some of the pitfalls in the past, which is, I think, first and foremost, getting students started on the right track, helping them to get comfortable with using their um, library here at Estrella, both digital and physical, um, helping them to distinguish, good, reliable information versus questionable, which a lot of the stuff that students were getting on the surface web, uh, and some of you probably have read my comments to students who I noticed. I was like, hey, I'm noticing you're, only doing surface web. And then the other thing too is that when I'm answering questions from students via email, I'm not really getting that dialogue. Whereas if we ask them to front load a chat with a librarian in person or through Ask, they're able to have that dialogue and ask questions when they have them, right? And so that's the idea. We really want them to start building, good information um, literate ex- habits, right? And then also growing in their confidence in using their Estrella Mountain Community College, library databases that so that hopefully, you know, this will help reinforce what type of information they should be using for their academic studies and make it, easier for them to actually do good quality research and then in turn um, be able to produce better quality research papers. So that's what I had planned to share with you all yesterday. Um, so I don't know if we want to just email me or we want to start an email chain. I am going to be sharing this PowerPoint with you. I'm going to be sharing with you the docs, one for the instructions, and then two for the worksheet that I'm going to that I have for the students. And I'll just like open it up so you can see I have a ton of windows up. So I have the instructions that you can import into your class, and then um, I also have a worksheet that I'm using at the desk with students. Um, so let me know what questions you have, and hopefully um, this will help our students to, like I said, start building and reinforcing good information literacy skills and research habits. And then also, this is something that's sustainable that we wouldn't, by using Ask a Librarian and the physical reference services at the library desk, we wouldn't have to worry so much about where students are like, where do I start, right? They're getting a live person to help them begin the research. We won't, in regards to verifying the resources, they'll be working with a live person to make sure that, yeah, this is how you use the citation tools. Yes, this is a credible, reliable resource, so we wouldn't necessarily have to do those citation reviews if we're sort of front loading the instruction and working with them, again, one-on-one and live. So I look forward to your questions. If you see holes in the instructions, please, reach out to me. We can edit, change them. I really appreciate you all working with us here at the library and helping to promote information literacy to our students. Um, Happy spring 2023, and I look forward to working with you all this semester. Bye.